My name is Veeder, and I'm an equine science instructor, but I'm also the program director for the NMSU Therapeutic Riding Program. I got started in therapeutic riding back in high school when I wanted to ride horses, and I didn't have that opportunity any longer, and it was a way for me to be involved with horses. I got involved with the program here at the university. Back in 2008, I was just teaching the college courses, and my boss said I needed to come up with another class to offer to pay for the horses, and I suggested therapeutic riding, and he loved it and let me run with it, and it's just exploded since then. Therapeutic riding is where riders from the community come in and ride horses. We work on specific goals that the parents have, but we also work on teaching them how to ride horses. Those goals can relate to behavior, cognitive issues, behavioral issues that they're having, as well as physical issues. One of them, which is kind of the main reason that therapy started with on horseback, is because the horse's movement is similar to the human gait. So we can take someone that is in a wheelchair or that is unable to walk properly and put them on the horse, and we can start their hips rotating in the proper direction, which is going to be the same as the walk. So we can start creating muscles for them without them having to bear weight on their legs. We can start helping those nerves to react and respond to each other. So again, we can start working towards that walking. Balancing on a horse can be really difficult, so it really helps a lot with that core strength as well, which we see a lot of riders that are wheelchair bound have a lack of that core strength, and it's really hard to work on that core strength, but we can put them on the horse and work on it. We see the horses also a great motivator, and so people are willing to do things on horses that they normally wouldn't do elsewhere. The connections that the horses make with the riders, and also just that it's fun, that they can go out there and they don't feel like it's therapy, that they can go out there and work on steering or turning or using their legs 100 times on the horse, and at the end of the 45 minutes they don't want to get off, whereas at the end of 30 minutes of physical therapy, they're going to be tired and they're going to be ready to be done. So I think it's a different environment that can really help that and encourage that as well. And we have lessons once a week, and it'll be same day and same time every week. So that way we can try to make sure that we have the same horse, same riders in the lesson, same instructors, same volunteers, and that way we can create a little more consistency for them. Most of our lessons, we work towards independence, and so we might start off with a horse handler and 2 sidewalkers. But once they're able to balance on their own and listen on their own, we're going to take those sidewalkers away. Once they're able to communicate with the horse on their own and the horse listens, we're going to take the horse handler away. Once they're able to communicate with that horse, then we might move them to a harder horse. Once they can do that at a walk, then we'll move up to a jog or to a trot. Once we get to that point, we don't do a lot of loping because our arena is pretty small. And so that's kind of the point where we're at, where we can kind of graduate them on and kind of send them to a local riding area, a local riding facility, and allow them to kind of continue on with their lessons there. For therapeutic riding, we're open to riders that are 4 years old and older. We have no age limits, we have no ability limits, and we have a wheelchair ramp, and so if someone is in a wheelchair, we can still get them onto the horse safely. We also have a lift, so if somebody's heavier than I can physically get onto the horse, we can use that lift to safely get them on the horse as well. We've seen riders with limps that have stopped limping. We've seen riders that have been wheelchair bound or in a walker that have been able to move from the wheelchair to the walker, or that have been able to move from a walker to walking with just somebody next to them because they've been able to improve through therapeutic riding. So we've seen lots of improvements, and it's just awesome and amazing. Each day out here we'll see something that surprises us too, and how much the horses work with the riders and how much the riders get out of each lesson.
My son has Klinefelter syndrome, which means he has an extra X chromosome, and it can cause, right now it causes a speech delay, but later on in life, also right now it causes like poor core strength, and later on in life it'll really start becoming a problem with his like muscles and movements and stuff. But it's not a very serious syndrome, but this really helps stabilize him and build up that core strength. Well, mostly the communication, just being able to communicate with other people besides us, because like we would understand him when he would talk with his mouth closed, but everybody else was like, what is he saying? But now he can tell people his wants and needs, and get along a lot better. From the first day he just got on the horse and didn't cry or anything. A lot of kids are very scared, and he didn't He just got on and been riding ever since. It's made a huge impact. It's just, I can't say enough good things about it, and I wish everybody had the opportunity to do it. So he just loves everything about it.
We have some volunteers that interact a lot more with the horse and some volunteers that interact a lot more with the rider. We go through a safety training with all of them before we put them in a lesson. So you don't have to have experience with horses, you don't have to have experience with children's or disabilities or anything else. We kind of give them all that background that they need before they get into their first lesson. The largest need right now is shade. We all know how hot it gets out here. And we're really lucky that we do have a large donor that really kind of helped us start pushing to get a indoor and covered arena. And that really helped us kind of reach out, and the legislation heard about it, and they were able to give us a large amount of money this year to help build a covered arena. So it'll be open on the sides, but it'll have shade over the top, which will be really nice for the riders. But we're hoping to kind of continue that on and get some shade built for the parents as well that are going to be sitting outside. And then eventually get sides put on it as well so that we don't have to cancel due to the wind or the rain. And so, I mean, we all know in the spring how windy it gets, and normally we have to cancel about half of our lessons because it's so windy and it can be a safety issue to have lessons. So we're really looking forward to kind of starting to fundraise and push through for that as well so that we can continue lessons and not have to cancel with our kids. We're always in need of horses, so anyone that has good horses, we'd love to hear about them. We're also in need of saddles and saddle pads and you know, so kind of some equipment that can make sure we keep the horse comfortable and keep the rider in the right equipment as well. So lots of needs, but we definitely make do with what we have and are able to get a lot done at the same time with what we have. My office number here is 575-646-2929. I'm always outside, so that's the worst way to get a hold of me. You can also get a hold of me at my email address, which is S as in Sarah, V as in Victor, EEDER @nmsu.edu. We also have the website, which is trp.nmsu.edu. And then we're also on Facebook. We have the group for the NMSU Therapeutic Riding Program, which you can like the page, and that'll keep you updated on any huge things that we have going on, like a horse carnival or lessons coming up or new horse donations and other donations that are needed. I am really big in just seeing change as well, so it's really neat to be able to go out from one day to the next and see the riders improving, or even over time from one semester to the next, or years that go by, and seeing that rider and how much they've changed. It just really reminds me how helpful this program is to everybody, to the horses and the students and the riders and their families as well.